And right across Europe, right across Germany, right across Russia, I prophesied that Europe shall have the message of God.
Genesis.
Hello, my name's Richard. I'm a retired medical doctor. My full name is Dr. Richard Kent, and I operate out of a charity. And for the next 60 minutes, we're going to talk about what does God think about abortion. Now, the Bible doesn't say anything about abortion, so we've got to use our conscience and various other things, particularly what the Bible says about life in the womb, to decide what God thinks about abortion. And I'm going to have to ask you to make your own mind up what God thinks about abortion. I actually work very closely with a consultant gynecologist who lives in Pakistan. Her name is Dr. Tahira Salim. She's a consultant obstetrician, consultant gynecologist. She's an ordained Bible teacher, and she actually runs one of the largest Christian churches in Pakistan, where I work. And she and I have worked together to produce this presentation. In Pakistan, abortions are illegal, and she has quite strong views about abortions. However, that's the hospital where Tahira lives, works, Calvary Hospital in Lahore. I'm a retired medical doctor. I retired from medicine about 12 years ago, and that's my wife, who's much more attractive than I am, as you can see. And our charity, we give completely free PowerPoint conferences anywhere in the world. This 60-minute teaching is going to be on a DVD, which can be copied and distributed entirely free from the following websites: finalfrontier.org.uk, freechristianteaching.org, and also be uploaded onto video.google.com, where you can watch it and download it free and distribute it free. Now, this is one of a series of 12 teachings, and here are the other teachings which are also obtainable free. What happens after we die? Evangelism is easy. Creation, the Genesis account. Evolution is impossible. The discovery of Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Exodus crossing, Mount Sinai and the Ark of the Covenant, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, the Shroud of Turin proves the resurrection, the Bible is supernatural, what does God think about abortion, the pre-tribulation rapture of all Christians in our lifetime, God's perfect plan for our finances, and how to have a miracle. So those are the 12 subjects you can see on our 2 free websites. Also on our websites, there are free downloadable DVDs, free downloadable books, free movies to watch, free conferences anywhere in the world, and free information. So if you would like us to come and give any of these teachings in your church, wherever you are in the world, all you have to do is get in touch with us and we'll come and visit your church. So it's finalfrontier.org.uk or freechristianteaching.org. We have 2 because some people prefer one and some people prefer the other. Now, I have to say we're very, very grateful indeed to Howard and Leslie Conder of Genesis Revelation TV for so kindly, greatly helping in the making of these programs. Without their help and encouragement, these programs would simply never have been made. So I'm really, really grateful. And I have to say Genesis and Revelation TV are fantastic programs to watch. We watch them, and I think they're absolutely fantastic. There's further information on what does God think about abortions on our 2 websites. And all information and images are intended to be used under the Fair Use Clause of the copyright laws. We've actually used information from various churches in the UK, Wharton Church on the web. We've used pictures of Jesus from the Visual Bible with permission. And basically, we have permission for virtually everything that's said on here. Now, the Bible says in the 10 Commandments, you shall not murder. That's what God said in Exodus 20, verse 13. Now, the question we need to ask over the next 60 minutes is, when does human life begin? Is a fetus in the womb a blob of disposable cells, or is the little baby in the womb actually a human being? Is the fetus in the womb a separate and distinct human life, and what does God think about abortions? Well, let's see what the Bible actually says. Now, I have to be honest, the word abortion doesn't appear in the Bible, so that's why I can't tell you exactly what God thinks about abortions, because the Bible doesn't say. That's why you and I, all of us, have to decide on the weight of evidence from what the Bible actually teaches about life in the womb, what we think God does think about abortion. Now, there are lots of other subjects about which the Bible is also silent. I'm not going to go into them all, but there are quite a number of them. And we have to treat abortion in the same way as we treat all these other subjects. We just have to see what the weight of evidence from the Bible is, and then carefully think about it, maybe pray about it, and then every person must come to their own conclusion. So I'm not going to tell you what you should think, whether abortions are right or wrong. I'm not going to be able to tell you what God thinks about abortions, but I'm going to give you some pretty strong clues, I hope. Now, the teaching from the early Christian church is, amongst other places, in the Didache. And the Didache is an ancient document containing Christian doctrines from before 150 AD. And here's an extract from the Didache. You shall not kill a child by abortion, nor slay it when born. So the early church had very clear teaching. We don't have that now. Now, when we're conceived in the womb, this is actually a miracle, and I'm going to be talking now about what actually happens in the womb, in our mum's tummy, when we're conceived and when we develop over 9 months. It really is an absolute miracle to develop from a fertilized egg to a baby at 9 months, weighing 6, 7, 8 pounds, 9 pounds sometimes. So, we're going to start with the development of the baby in the womb. And the baby develops from conception. The baby, I believe, life starts at conception. I'll be able to prove that to you from the scriptures later on. The human baby spends roughly 40 weeks developing in the womb, and this is normal progression of life from conception to birth and then on to childhood. And I'm over 60 now, and I don't look anything like a little baby anymore because we all change. And we changed in the womb as well. We changed from a tiny little fertilized egg about the size of a grain of salt, and we changed into a baby weighing 8, 9 pounds, and now we changed to what we are now. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of that slide. That's rather a complicated slide, but basically the eggs are released, I should say, from the ovaries. And all ladies have a certain finite number of ovaries, and once a month these eggs are released, halfway through the cycle, usually around about day 14. And if fertilization takes place, it happens in what's called the fallopian tube. It's a tube leading from the ovary to the womb. So fertilization actually happens there, and then the fertilized egg passes down the fallopian tube towards the uterus, which is the womb, and then implants in the wall of the uterus. And this is all controlled by a very complicated hormonal system, controlled by our brains, by a hypothalamus, and by follicle-stimulating hormone released by the fertilized egg, and so on. And I won't go into all the details of that, but it is very quite complicated. Now, that's an amazing electron microscope photograph of actually fertilization taking place. At conception, the beginning of human life, one sperm joins with the ovum, that's the egg, to form one cell which is smaller than a grain of salt. So it's very, very small. Now, in the first week, the new life has inherited 23 chromosomes from the father and 23 chromosomes from the mother. That makes a total of 46 chromosomes. And that's what a baby looks like at conception. In the first week, this single cell, the fertilized ovum, is completely separate and distinct from the mother's body and the mother's cells. Sorry. The new life is completely different from the mother's life. The new fertilized ovum already has his or her own genetic DNA coding. So I have genetic DNA coding. That's the genetic code that God used to make my human body, but baby has different genetic code.